Wow. This is quite the reading list you've given us for this deep dive.
Yeah.
Really a lot to think about.
It is.
With all this stuff on time and consciousness and even reality itself, we've got physics and philosophy, neuroscience even.
It's pretty fascinating, actually, to see them all come together.
Yeah, you're on a quest for some pretty big answers.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like you're really looking for something beyond
Yeah,
just a purely scientific view.
absolutely.
Looking more at the deeper philosophical and experiential aspects.
You want to understand how things work, but more importantly, what they mean for us as like beings in the universe.
Right, exactly.
So let's dive in and see if we can uncover some of those aha moments
Okay.
you're searching for.
Sounds great.
I think a really good place to start would be with Einstein,
Okay.
because he completely revolutionized our understanding of time, but even he struggled with this really basic question.
Yeah.
The subjective experience of now.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Like
Time is
one damn thing after another.
one damn thing after another, right? He said that. But even Einstein admitted that science couldn't fully capture that feeling of presentness that we all experience.
Yeah. So is time just an illusion?
Oh.
Is it all in our heads?
Well, that is a question that has puzzled philosophers and scientists for centuries.
For sure.
One way to look at it is through the lens of the block universe model,
Okay.
which suggests that past, present, and future all exist simultaneously.
Okay.
So imagine a loaf of bread
Okay.
where every slice represents a moment in time.
Okay.
The whole loaf already exists, not just the slice that we're currently experiencing.
That's a pretty mind-bending concept.
Yeah.
So if the future is already out there in this block universe, does that mean we don't have free will?
Well, there's also the evolving block universe theory,
Okay.
which you can think of as like the loaf of bread is still baking.
Okay.
It's expanding as time unfolds. So this model suggests that while the past is fixed, the future is still being created, allowing room for choice and change.
So we have some say in how the dough rises, so to speak. But how does consciousness fit into all of this?
Right.
You mentioned Einstein's struggle with that feeling of presentness.
Yeah, it highlights, I think, the limitations of just viewing time purely through a physical lens.
Okay.
It suggests that our subjective experience, our consciousness, right, might be a crucial factor in understanding the deeper nature of reality.
Okay.
And this brings us to Chris Langdon and his cognitive theoretic model of the universe.
Oh, yes, Chris Langan,
CTMU.
the mega mind,
That's right.
with the allegedly highest IQ in the world.
Allegedly the highest IQ.
CTMU is an attempt to create a theory of everything that's pretty ambitious.
It's ambitious, but it's also exciting.
Yeah.
And at the core of CTMU is the idea that reality itself is a kind of self-aware language.
Okay.
He blends logic and mathematics and physics to create a framework where consciousness is not just a byproduct of the brain, but a fundamental aspect of the universe.
So instead of our brains producing consciousness, they're more like receivers tuning into this universal consciousness.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a pretty radical idea. How does Langan explain that?
Well, he suggests that the structure of reality itself is inherently self-aware.
Okay.
So think of the universe as a vast, interconnected network of information, a cosmic code that's constantly evolving and processing information. Our brains, in this model, act as filters,
Okay.
decoding and interpreting just a tiny sliver of this universal consciousness.
Okay, so we're not generating consciousness, but we're filtering it
Right.
from some kind of cosmic source.
Yes.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
Yeah.
What are the implications of this filter theory for how we understand ourselves and the world around us?
Well, for one thing, it challenges the materialist view
Okay.
that consciousness is solely a product of the brain. It opens up the possibility that consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, perhaps even pre-existing
Wow.
the physical world as we know it.
That's a pretty big shift in perspective. It makes you wonder about things like near-death experiences,
Absolutely.
where people report having these very vivid conscious experiences, even when their brain activity is minimal.
Exactly. The filter theory suggests that these experiences might not be hallucinations,
Okay.
but glimpses of a wider reality that we're normally not aware of, our brains in their normal functioning state,
Okay.
might be limiting our perception of this wider reality.
It's like we're walking around with blinders on, only able to perceive a small fraction of what's actually out there.
That's a great analogy.
And it makes you think, like, what if there are ways to remove those blinders or to adjust them?
Right.
What if we could expand our awareness and access these other realms of consciousness?
That's a tantalizing thought.
Yeah. Are there any theories or practices that explore how we might do that?
Well, some of your sources delve into the idea of higher frequencies,
Oh, okay.
suggesting that there are different levels of consciousness that we can tap into. One of the sources even suggests that certain practices like meditation or spending time in nature might help us access these higher frequencies.
Okay. Interesting.
But before we jump into that, let's talk about another fascinating aspect of consciousness that relates to time precognition.
Okay, precognition.
Yeah.
The ability to perceive future events. You give us some sources on this. Are you saying you believe in psychic powers?
I wouldn't necessarily say that, but the evidence for precognition is stronger than many people realize. There's a growing body of scientific research that suggests we might have a subtle ability to anticipate future events.
It's not like seeing the future in a crystal ball,
No, not like that.
but more like having a hunch or a feeling that something's going to happen.
Exactly. And there are two main types of precognition.
Okay.
Direct precognition is like a gut feeling or a premonition.
Okay.
Indirect precognition is more like having impressions of future events without any prior knowledge or sensory cues.
Interesting.
Sort of like precognitive remote viewing.
That's pretty wild. So you're saying it's possible to tune into the future even if we don't consciously know what we're looking for?
It's a possibility worth considering.
Yeah.
And one of your sources, Julia Mossbridge,
Okay.
a researcher who has studied precognition extensively, even suggests that it's being used in real-world applications.
Wait, seriously? People are using precognition for things like predicting the stock market or inventing new technologies?
Well, it's not quite that straightforward, but Mossbridge's research suggests that precognitive abilities, even in their subtle forms, can potentially enhance things like strategic foresight and problem solving.
Okay, this is all getting very intriguing, but I'm still grappling with this whole idea of consciousness as energy. If it's not just a product of the brain, where does this energy come from?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
We know from Einstein's famous equation, E=mc², that energy and mass are interconnected. So in a sense, we are all beings of pure energy, constantly converting matter into energy, and vice versa.
So we're like walking, talking power plants. That's a bit freaky, but also pretty cool. But how does this relate to consciousness?
Well, that's where physics and metaphysics start to intersect.
Okay.
We're talking about the very essence of life itself.
Right.
About the fundamental forces that govern reality. And the question is, how does this energy manifest as subjective experience? What role do particles like bosons, which mediate forces in the universe, play in the energy consciousness equation?
Bosons. We're going subatomic here.
Yeah.
I feel like we're about to enter a whole new level of the deep dive.
Indeed we are. And exploring this connection between energy and consciousness might hold the key to understanding some of the deepest mysteries of the universe and ourselves. Yeah, it's fascinating how these sources kind of approach consciousness from all these different angles.
Yeah, we've got like a real consciousness toolkit going on here.
Right.
We're really using a lot of different lenses to examine this concept.
Right.
But it sounds like Chris Langan's CTMU is trying to encompass all of these different perspectives into one grand unifying
That's right.
theory.
He's aiming to bridge the gap between science and metaphysics, proposing this model where consciousness is integral to the fabric of reality.
But Langan doesn't shy away from controversy, does he?
No, he doesn't.
He has some pretty strong opinions about the state of the world and what he calls the globalist agenda.
Yes. Langan is a highly critical thinker, and some of his views do venture into territory that many would consider conspiratorial.
Okay.
So it's important to approach those ideas with a discerning mind and consider alternative viewpoints. But his concerns about the concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a few are echoed by many, even beyond the fringes.
That's true. I've heard similar concerns for people across the political spectrum. But how does he connect this to the idea of transhumanism?
Right.
This quest for immortality through technology.
He sees this pursuit of digital immortality. Uploading one's consciousness to a machine, right, as a symptom of a deeper spiritual crisis.
Okay.
He argues that many of these elites who are fixated on transcending death through technology are kind of missing the point.
Okay.
They're so focused on escaping physical limitations that they neglect the inner worth, the search for meaning and purpose that he believes is essential for true fulfillment.
So instead of trying to cheat death with technology, Langan is suggesting we should focus on exploring our own consciousness, connecting to something greater than ourselves.
Exactly. He believes that true immortality lies in spiritual growth.
Okay.
In aligning ourselves with a higher purpose.
Okay.
And that's where the idea of shifting to those higher frequencies comes in.
Okay, so this concept of higher frequencies isn't just some new age buzzword.
No.
It's actually about personal transformation.
Right.
Spiritual evolution.
Think of it this way. We know that energy vibrates at different frequencies.
Okay.
What if our consciousness is also capable of vibrating at different frequencies? And what if those higher frequencies are associated with qualities like love, compassion, and wisdom?
That's a pretty profound idea.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if practices like meditation or mindfulness, which aim to cultivate those very qualities, could actually be ways of shifting our consciousness to a higher frequency.
That's a possibility worth exploring.
Yeah.
And it aligns with the insights of many spiritual traditions that have long emphasized the importance of inner work, cultivating virtue, and connecting to a higher power.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from Einstein's struggles with time,
Right,
to Langen's mind-bending CTMU, the filter theory of consciousness, precognition, and now higher frequencies. It's a lot to take in.
It is a lot, and remember, we're just scratching the surface of these profound topics.
Of course.
But it's through exploring these ideas,
Yeah.
questioning assumptions, and connecting the dots that we can start to expand our understanding of ourselves and the universe.
It's like we're assembling a puzzle.
Yeah.
Piece by piece, and even if we don't have the complete picture yet, seeing those pieces connect is incredibly satisfying.
Absolutely. And as we delve deeper, we often find that the pieces fit together in unexpected and fascinating ways.
Speaking of unexpected connections,
Yeah.
you mentioned that one of the sources claimed that love enhances precognitive abilities.
Oh, yes.
That piqued my interest.
Yes, Julia Mossbridge, in her research on precognition, observed a correlation between experiences of unconditional love and increased precognitive sensitivity.
So we're not just talking about romantic love here, right? We're talking about a broader, more universal kind of love, a sense of interconnectedness and compassion.
Exactly, a love that extends beyond the personal and encompasses a sense of unity with all beings.
It makes you wonder if this universal love, which many spiritual traditions consider a fundamental force, could be a key to unlocking those higher states of consciousness.
It's an intriguing possibility,
Yeah.
and one that aligns with the idea of those higher frequencies we were discussing. What if those frequencies are intrinsically linked to love, compassion, and a deep sense of unity?
So maybe the path to transcendence isn't about escaping the physical world or uploading our minds to machines, but about fully embracing this world. Seeing the divine spark in everything and everyone and letting love guide our actions.
That's a powerful perspective.
Yeah.
And it suggests that our individual journeys of self-discovery and spiritual growth are intimately connected to the well-being of the collective.
This is a lot to ponder.
Yeah.
We've gone from exploring the nature of time and consciousness to contemplating the transformative power of love. I'm beginning to see how these seemingly disparate concepts are interwoven. But how do we apply this knowledge to our everyday lives?
That's the essential question, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do we take these mind-bending concepts and make them relevant, practical, and transformative?
Exactly. It's easy to get caught up in the heady ideas. But how do we actually live these insights?
Well, it might start with something as simple as shifting our awareness, being more present in each moment, and cultivating gratitude for the simple things.
So slowing down, savoring the present moment, appreciating the interconnectedness of all things.
Precisely. And from that foundation of presence and gratitude,
Okay.
we can start to make choices that are more aligned with our values, our highest aspirations.
You know, thinking back to Chris Langen, one thing that struck me was his emphasis on seeking truth, even if it meant sacrificing wealth and status. He seemed to be living proof that you don't need to be a billionaire to make a meaningful impact on the world.
He was certainly a unique individual.
Yeah.
And his life story is a testament to the power of ideas, critical thinking, and the courage to challenge conventional wisdom.
And in a world that's increasingly driven by algorithms, artificial intelligence, and the relentless pursuit of profit, those qualities seem more valuable than ever.
Absolutely. In a way, Langen's CTMU, with its concept of reality as a self-aware language, foreshadows the rise of artificial intelligence and the blurring of lines between human and machine intelligence.
So we're living in a time when the very nature of consciousness is being redefined.
Yeah.
Where the boundaries between the physical and the digital are becoming increasingly fluid.
It's a time of both immense possibility and significant challenges.
For sure.
And it demands that we engage with these big questions,
Yeah.
explore the full potential of our consciousness, and consider the ethical implications of these rapidly advancing technologies.
There's something that keeps coming back to me throughout this discussion. We've talked about consciousness as energy, but never really delved into the specifics. Where does this energy come from? How does it manifest in our physical bodies?
That's a crucial question.
Yeah.
That lies at the heart of the mystery of life itself.
Right.
Remember, Im Seok-so tells us that energy and mass are interchangeable.
Right.
So at a fundamental level, we are beings of pure energy.
Okay, so we are those walking, talking power plants, but how does this energy translate to our thoughts, emotions, and experiences?
Well, those processes occur at a level
Okay.
far more intricate than we can fully grasp. Imagine the complexities of our metabolism, the constant conversion of matter into energy and vice versa within every cell of our bodies.
So it all comes back to biology, the food we eat, the air we breathe, and the way our bodies process these resources to create the energy that fuels our very existence.
Yes, and it's worth remembering that the brain, the organ most closely associated with consciousness, is one of the most energy-hungry organs in the body.
So that's why we feel drained after a mentally taxing day.
Precisely.
Our brains have been burning through our energy reserves.
Exactly, and it highlights the importance of nourishing our bodies,
Okay.
providing the fuel our brains need to function optimally.
It's interesting to think that caring for our physical health can be seen as a spiritual practice, honoring our bodies as vessels for this energy, for consciousness itself.
That's a beautiful perspective. It emphasizes the interconnectedness
Right.
of our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being.
It brings us back to that sense of holism, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The idea that everything is interconnected and our individual actions have ripple effects throughout the web of life.
Yes, and that awareness can inform our choices,
Right.
our values, and our understanding of our place in the universe.
This deep dive has taken us on quite a journey.
It has.
We've explored profound and complex ideas, but I'm beginning to see how they can be applied in practical ways.
And that's the key, isn't it? To integrate these insights
Yeah.
into our actions, relationships, and our understanding of the world around us.
You know, I'm starting to think that maybe this entire deep dive was a form of precognitive remote viewing.
Interesting.
We've been exploring the future of our own understanding, tapping into the potential of our evolving consciousness.
And perhaps that's the ultimate takeaway here.
Oh,
The future is not fixed.
Okay.
We have the power to shape our destinies, and the journey of self-discovery is one of infinite possibilities.
You know, it's amazing how this conversation keeps coming back to this idea of interconnectedness. We started with the physics of time and Einstein's struggles.
Right.
We explored Chris Langan's mind-bending CTMU, and now we're talking about love as a potential key to expanding our consciousness.
Yeah, it's a testament to the intricate web of connections
Well-
that weave through all these topics.
And you mentioned that this idea of interconnectedness, this sense of unity, might be linked to those higher frequencies.
Exactly. What if these higher frequencies aren't just about personal growth, but about tapping into a universal consciousness, a field of awareness that connects us all?
So it's not just about individual enlightenment, but about recognizing our interconnectedness with all beings, with the entire cosmos.
It's a perspective that's echoed in various spiritual traditions
Yeah.
and philosophical schools of thought. The idea that we're all part of something much larger than ourselves, a unified field of consciousness that permeates all of reality.
That's a beautiful and humbling thought.
Yeah.
It makes you reconsider the way you interact with the world of other people, even with yourself.
Absolutely. It invites us to cultivate a sense of compassion and empathy,
Yeah.
to see the divine spark in every living being.
And maybe that's where love comes in, not just romantic love, but that universal love we were talking about, the kind that transcends boundaries and differences.
Yes, that unconditional love that recognizes the inherent worth and dignity of every being. It's a powerful force
Yeah.
that can dissolve barriers, heal wounds, and inspire positive action.
You know, after this deep dive, I'm starting to see the world in a whole new light. It's like all these concepts we've explored, time, consciousness, energy, love, they're all threads in a grand tapestry.
And we're just beginning to glimpse the intricate patterns woven into that tapestry. The more we explore,
Yeah.
the more awe-inspiring the design becomes.
So where do we go from here? How do we integrate these insights into our daily lives?
Well, I think it starts with cultivating awareness.
Okay.
Paying attention to our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, and how they impact ourselves and the world around us.
So mindfulness meditation, be more present in each moment.
Those are certainly valuable practices. It's also about making conscious choices that align with our values, contributing to the well-being of others, and nurturing a sense of connection with something greater than ourselves.
It sounds like a lifelong journey of learning, growing, and expanding our awareness.
It is, and the beauty of it is that there's always more to discover, more to understand, more to experience.
This deep dive has been truly mind-expanding. We've journeyed from the realm of physics to the depths of consciousness, exploring profound concepts and challenging assumptions.
And through it all, we've seen how these ideas can illuminate our understanding of ourselves, the universe, and our place within it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with a sense of wonder and possibility, a feeling that we're all part of something vast and interconnected, and that our individual journeys are threads in a grand cosmic tapestry.
And perhaps that's the most important takeaway, to approach life with a sense of curiosity, compassion, and a willingness to embrace the mystery.
Beautifully said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you'll continue to explore these fascinating topics and keep asking those big questions. Until next time, keep diving deep.